Okay, so we're doing some more palm tattoos today. I have both of mine done. I've got some pen ink on my hand today too. That's not tattoo. I don't know where the hell that came from. It's been a long day.
Extra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leftover blackout from yesterday.
Something.
So let's start with email from Jillian. It says, hi there from Queensland, Australia. Hope you're well. I wanted to share my palm/fingers tattoo. I'm absolutely in love with it. I had it done for Mother's Day, and each of the cherry blossom flowers represents each of my 4 children, with my flower being on the palm. I wanted to do a huge shout out to my tattoo artist, Aruli, who works at 7th Circle Tattoo Studio in Brisbane. She was absolutely amazing, and there was such an awesome vibe happening at the studio. Didn't use any numbing cream, and was actually surprised that it didn't hurt as much as I thought. With the most painful part being at the top of my palm towards my middle finger. Would love to hear your thoughts on my design. Have a magical day.
So in almost every case, if you finish your palm tattoo, you're going to remember it not being as painful as what people said it was going to be. And like the only people who typically say their palm tattoo was as bad as they say it was, are the ones that didn't finish. They like started and they got 5 minutes in and gave up.
I don't think I've ever heard of anybody using numbing cream on their palm.
I don't even know how well it would take, but the skin is pretty thick. So I would imagine you could probably get it in. I mean, palm tattoos for the most part aren't going to take that long either. So if it did work, I think that it would be one of the better places, because the big problem with numbing cream supposedly is that it wears off and then you're fucked.
And then it hurts like worse than it ever did.
So with palm tattoos, you're not there very long typically. I do like this one. I don't know how well some of this is going to work out. I think some of the little details probably aren't going to go so well. I think some parts of it will stay pretty good. I like that they went boldest on the inner finger parts, because those are probably going to be the hardest parts to keep.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, the little finger flowers would be the part that I would expect to definitely wear and fall out. But then like also like some of these little like swirls.
Yeah, that stuff's a little too thin.
Some of the petals, I'm wondering if like they stayed in the healed version.
The issue is that some of it will and some of it won't. You'll have thinning in places. You'll probably have some dropout in other places. Now, this is all theoretical, like maybe not in this case, but the problem with doing thin lines on a palm is some of the line won't stay as well as other parts of the line, right? Because your depth isn't going to stay the same all the way through unless you're doing palms every day. The reason why dots are advised is because you're getting the constant touchdown. You're getting maximum depth the whole way. Whereas when you're dragging a liner, it's really hard to maintain that same amount of depth in the palm.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're going to have this weird thinning. So when people do line their palms, they'll tend to do a double line, and in that case these things are all too close together, and if they do blow out, you're going to have mush. And with the palm you want blowouts.
These are all like fresh shots that we've got.
They're all fresh, and I really wish that we had seen the healed, but maybe later.
Yeah, I think with palm tattoos it's important to send healed shots too, because I mean, sometimes it can change drastically. The
other thing is like some of these things are spaced too close together. And when you're doing a palm tattoo, it's preferred to have a blowout. So when these things, if they did blow out, they would not have the same impact that they have fresh. Because like these lines are all going to blur together.
Makes sense.
Like parts like this where there's this little line.
Yeah, that'll blur into each other.
Yeah. Well, ideally it will.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's kind of what you're hoping for. So I do like this design and I like the inspiration behind it, but I think it's a little too complicated for a palm. I think all of these darker spots where the lines are pretty close together, your best hope is that those blow out and connect. But then when that does happen, they won't have that same impact.
It won't be as intricate looking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go to the next one. This one says, I love the poke work you did. It didn't hurt that much, like people say, and yeah, I love how it turned out. I hope it won't fade away. Any tips on how to get or let a palm tattoo heal?
Well, realistically, a palm tattoo is one of the easiest heals, I feel. I always thought it would be hard, but it's really not. It's like the first day, and then I don't even think about it.
Yeah, I feel like your palms have been the most
Of the bad spots that you're like worried about, it seems to be like the chillest,
Yeah.
you know?
My biggest complaint whenever you get your palm tattoos is that you can't do the dishes.
Just for the first day.
Yeah, for like a day or two.
It's worse when I get full saturation hand tattoos.
Yeah.
Like way worse. Then I don't touch dishes for days.
But yeah, like I think every time you've gotten your palms done, I've barely noticed
Yeah, it's not really
the healing
that.
process. So anyways,
This guy here is like a small version of what I did, like an extra small version.
it's
to
too
some degree.
small.
And my big thing here is it's not dotted densely enough. You can see some places where the dotting kind of is too thin. You want it to be about as dark as that one corner there.
As the bottom of the crescent.
But even then, that's not enough dots, and the line doesn't quite connect.
Yeah, it's a little wonky there.
I mean, this is harder to do than it looks to dot like you're lining.
Oh
But
yeah,
like that's
for sure.
kind of what you're trying to do. The reason why you would want these denser like packed is so that when they do blow out, it almost makes like a solid black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's
instead of
like pointillism.
so like that's all of those dots are blown out. Like almost every one of those dots blew out, and that was what we wanted. In the teardrops here falling from the moon or whatever you want to call them, that was all dotted in, but it's solid black. It looks
Yeah.
like it was mag shaded. That's kind of what you want to be attempting. You can still go for the dot look, but just when you do that, you should pretty much guess that they're going to smear together.
Yeah, I feel
So.
like if it were me, I'd go back into this palm tattoo
Yeah.
and get some more dots put into it.
Just dense it up a bit.
Yeah, make it a little denser. I mean, personally, I would have gone bigger.
Oh, yeah.
This is a pretty small size palm tattoo, but maybe that's what you wanted.
I think it should be bigger too. Use the area you've
Yeah.
got. Yeah.
Like, we're not really covering too much, and like yeah, I think like redotting it will get rid of like the consistency and dot size is really obvious since they're so spaced out. And it'll definitely fix that, and I think it'll add to the longevity of this tattoo in general anyways, right?
Yeah, some of them look pretty shallow as well.
Yeah, like it looks great from far away, but I just think it could be
Well,
that
it's
much more better.
There, it's fresh. Again, we didn't get
Yeah.
any fucking healed ones today.
Yeah.
So I
I'd
feel
like
like
to
a
see
crime
some-
is being committed.
It is a little bit of a crime.
Not one healed palm today. Because
Yeah.
the next one I believe is fresh as well.
Yeah, I think that one's fresh as well. Do you want to move on to that one?
Yeah.
'Kay.
Yeah. We're talking about the next one.
Cool. So, this person says, there it is fresh, but don't roast it. I really love it. Not done yet. This is just the first round.
Yeah. This is, I think, probably the worst one today. But I do think that it's also potentially going to stay better than the first one in some places. And because it's less complicated, the things that do go away will be easier to reckon with. Whereas the first one, things were too close together and they were too important. Like everything that was close together was too impactful. This is like fairly spacious, and so even if it did blorb up, you're not really losing anything.
Blurb.
Like you're not losing anything important if that happens.
Yeah.
I do think that some parts of this are pretty well toast. I can see some spots that are already pretty thin, but I see some spots that I expect will stay as well. Like it's interesting when you've had your palm tattooed and watched.
You can
So I've
kind of
had
see where
4
it's going
palm
to fall
tattoo
out.
sessions. I'm not an expert on the matter by any means, but I've seen what's happened with my own, and I think that little diamond up there is probably the top line is probably going to be the worst part.
Risk of falling out.
Then in here, on this part here,
On
is-
the curve on the side.
that's going to be a little bit thin. But then when they got these big chunks at the sides, I think that those might stay fairly well.
Yeah. I'd like to see this one like dotted in.
What is this?
I could be wrong. It's either Buddhist or Hindu, and it's like a a meditation, like an om. I think it's got more of a specific sound than the om, but it's I'm pretty sure it's like a meditation
For like
symbol of meditation.
You have any idea what it means? Meditation?
Well, like, you know, and again, I'm not sure, Buddhist or Hindu, they would, you know, meditate in om, right? Like it's like
That's
that
what
universal
this
sound.
means.
But it might be a different sound. But it's that kind of a meditation symbol. And I'm sure someone in the comments will tell us.
Yeah.
But that's what my understanding
Well,
of
I'm
the
sure it
symbol
means
is.
something.
But
It's lost on me.
I'm fairly positive that it's something along those lines, though.
Well, whatever it is, I don't love or hate it, but I think it's the simplest one and my least favorite design-wise, but I think that it's got a better chance to hold than the first one. What I would love to see is all three of these sent to me healed, and then we can see if I was correct in any of this or off on all of it, and I would love to be wrong. Up close, this one, I see some more problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's definitely spots that I even think
the line is
are
thin
gonna fall out for
and
sure.
not like it's almost hollow.
But they said that they know they have to go for a second pass, and I
Well,
think
that's
they should
important.
fill it in.
Whenever you do
like,
a palm
dot it in.
tattoo, I feel like you should be not just willing to, but expecting to do more than one pass. Unless you're going to someone like a Luke Ashley that's doing it every day. Doesn't have to be Luke Ashley. Let's say it's some other unknown guy that just does a lot of palm tattoos.
And you know that they can get them in solid.
It's not something that you get a lot of practice with. Like that's a different tissue. It's the same as like if you're getting your nipples blacked out, know that you might not get them perfect the first time because a lot of people don't really get to tattoo nipples very often.
Right?
Like there's some places you just don't get to work with much.
It's true.
So when you're doing something that's a little different, have patience with your artist because I don't think any of these were terribly done.
No, I think just remember it's a learning experience for your artists too, and you know, if they don't know that they should be like, you know, dotting some of it in, like chat with them about it, and maybe they can do a little more research on the subject if they're open-minded. Some people are pretty no, this is you know, but
yeah, there's a lot of those.